Hey guys, my name is Jacob, and I'm an electrical engineer, hobbyist, and baconeer. Today I'm here to talk about how I got into engineering and how I had the opportunity to compete as a baconeer on Netflix's Baking Impossible show. Today I'm going to be answering some questions from some third graders at McGilvra Elementary School in Seattle. My first question is from Tatum, who asks, how old were you when you became an engineer? Well, let's start with the definition of engineering. Engineering is really the application of scientific principles to solve difficult problems. So while I personally don't consider myself an engineer until I got a degree, most people actually do engineering every day. Think about this. When is the last time you built a tower with Legos? Or folded a piece of paper into a paper airplane? Those are all examples of everyday engineering. My next question comes from Ren, who asks, how did you learn to become an engineer? When I was young, I spent a lot of time in the garage watching my dad do things like build wooden cabinets and do general car maintenance. He also helped me build a go-kart and do other fun projects like that. That led me to take math and science courses when I got into school. And my natural curiosity led me to take apart things like old appliances. When I didn't know how something worked, I read about it or Googled it. And that's really how I got into engineering. My next question comes from Ella, who asks, since you're an engineer, you build stuff. What kind of things do you build? Well, Ella, I've gotten the opportunity to work on a lot of cool projects as an engineer. I've gotten the opportunity to work on robots. I've gotten to work on things like a basketball playing robot, and a Rubik's Cube solving robot, and even a Scrabble playing robot. I've also had the opportunity to build things like games. I got to build a life-size Operation game board. I've also gotten to work on really cool things, like rocket control systems. What could be cooler than that? Now that I've gotten to answer some questions about how I got into engineering, I'd like to answer some questions about how I had the opportunity to be a baconeer. My first question comes from Eleanor, who asks, what is baconeering? Great question. Baconeering is really the intersection of food and STEM, where STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. It's really all about using edible materials to create large, functional, or otherwise seemingly impossible pieces. Next question comes from Leo, who asks, how do you baconeer? Well, Leo, baconeering is really no different than any other form of engineering. Just as an electrical engineer works on electrical projects, and a mechanical engineer works on mechanical projects, a baconeer works on baking projects. Think about replacing normal engineering materials with edible materials. So for example, try replacing wood in a structure with pasta. It's really about thinking about food in different ways, thinking about food in structural or functional ways as opposed to just edible ways. My next question comes from Abby, who asks, what do engineers do in baking challenges? Think about how edible materials can be used in creative, structural, or functional situations. That's something you probably don't do every day. Imagine, for example, that you're tasked with building an edible boat, or an edible robot, or an edible skyscraper. Those are all very difficult problems, and something that an engineer might be keen at approaching. My next question comes from Evelyn, who asks, what inspired you to become a baconeer? Well, I've always had a hobby of baking and cooking, and I've always enjoyed math and science. And I've always been curious what it would be like to merge the two. So having the opportunity to work on a baking and engineering show really seemed like a lot of fun. My next question comes from Maxwell, who asks, is it fun being a baker and an engineer? My answer to that is yes, yes, yes. Let me give you some fun at-home projects that you might be able to do to experience what it's like to be a baconeer. For the first one, take a bag of marshmallows and a bag of pasta. See if you can turn those two objects into the tallest tower possible. Think about how you might change the shape of your pasta structures to build an even taller tower. For other really fun at-home projects that you can do, check the description below for a link to the Pacific Science Center website, where you can find tons more activities to try at home. Thanks for joining me today. Hopefully I've been able to answer some of your questions, and maybe I've even been able to ignite some curiosity.